Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sabansi, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Show. We're covering everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we have a very serious show in store for you guys. Before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and sub to the channel if you haven't already. Now, today we got a very serious one. Because it seems as if Brett Farve has decided to reignite his lawsuit against Shannon Sharpe, based on some of the things that he said about him on Undisputed. Today, I actually want to read from two articles. We're getting one from USA Today, where it says Brett Farve asks appeal court to reignite lawsuit against Shannon Sharpe. And then the other one that we have here, it has a headline saying Brett Farve pushes to revive lawsuit against fellow Hall of Famer Shannon Sharpe, right? So Brett Farve seems to be 100% serious about his stance on Shannon Sharpe. And you know, Shannon Sharpe has had some very strong positions on Brett Farve on Undisputed, especially when he had that scandal, right? With the situation of him being accused of stealing money from people there. So actually what we want to do is, before we even get into what these reports and these articles had to say, we want to play some of the things that Shannon Sharpe had to say about Brett Farve. On Undisputed when he was there with Skip Bayless, because that's really the last time he spoke about him. And then we're going to come back and really get into the show. Take a listen to Shannon Sharpe here talking about Brett Farve.
Shannon, how much do you think this could tarnish Brett Favre's legacy?
Well, I don't think none can tarnish it, because if you go back and look at his history when he played in the NFL, they should have tarnished it already. I talked to people that was in the room when Brett Favre went into the Hall of Fame, and nobody mentioned about text messages that he sent to that jet masseuse. Nobody mentioned anything about the addiction that he suffered from. But yet T.O., they brought up everything. Can you imagine if T.O. would have had an incidents like Brett Favre off the field? T.O. still, to this day right now, would not be in the Hall of Fame. Yet they walked right past it like Brett Favre did nothing.
That is true. I give you that.
The problem that I have with this situation, you got to be a sorry mofo to steal from the lowest of the low. Skip, Mississippi is the poorest state in our country.
It is.
Its citizens. So if they're the poorest state, Brett Favre is taken from the underserved. You made $100+ million in the NFL. And they're talking about, well, he didn't know. This is what Brett Favre texted. If you were to pay me, is there any way the media can find out where it came from and how much? So if you got to ask this question, is there any way the media can find out? You already know you're doing something wrong. The mere fact that you don't want anybody to know. So you know you're doing something wrong. And Skip, he wanted to seem so philanthropic. He wanted to change the perception of the narrative. He take money for some damn volleyball arena.
Well, his
daughter played. You see what Brett Favre did for his alma mater? No, he didn't get no money came out of his pocket. He stole money from people that really needed that money.
Yep.
Man, this is embarrassing. And he's not the only one. Ted DiBiase, a former wrestler, even Marcus Dupree, a great running back at the school that you loved growing up, Oklahoma. He got money. You got to be really low to take from the poorest of the poor. Brett, you ain't got enough money? Okay, Skip, listen. You know you're not supposed to have this. But how about go give the damn speeches? They're paying you to give speeches, and you didn't even give the speeches. And now you won't even pay the money back. And they fired one of the guys that say he tried to recruit the money. They fired him he was a Clinton appointee. This was political.
Yeah.
Shouldn't you get the money back? Have nothing to do with politics. The man and this is what we know. Skip, when black and brown people do fraud the government, they hell bent. You get an EBT card, or you get WIC, or you get stuff like that, boy, they move heaven and earth to try to put you in jail for $400 little measly dollars.
Fact.
Now this man done took $1 million. Somebody got $3 million. Somebody got $400,000.
Yeah.
And they sitting around like, well, you know, it happened, and we'll see. And they're gonna get more money and do it all over again.
And to your point, the Mississippi Department of Human Services had to file a civil lawsuit against Brett Favre because he had not paid back the interest he owed on the $1.1 million that he was fraudulently given for giving no speeches.
Right. And he won't even pay the 1.1 back. He won't even pay the interest on the money.
Right. It's $228,000.
I mean, you got to be really low.
Yeah.
You got to be really low. And people and politicians, you got to be really low too. To know that this money is supposed to go to the most underserved, and you take it and give it to people that's made millions, or got millions or have the potential to make millions, and you're willing to do that? You're willing to let your people starve? You let your people go underserved? And Brett Favre, you took this money? Ain't nothing go Skip, this is what we know.
Yeah.
If people like you, there is nothing you can do to turn them against you.
So you heard what Shannon Sharpe had to say. Now let me get into these articles here. Let's start off with USA Today. It continues on. It said Brett Favre's legal team was back in court on Tuesday, according to multiple media reports, trying to convince the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Fifth Circuit in New Orleans to reinstate the former NFL quarterback's defamation lawsuit against Shannon Sharpe. The case was dismissed by a federal judge in Jackson, Mississippi in October. The dispute involves comments Sharpe made on Fox Sports show Skip Bayless and Shannon's Undisputed in September 2022. At the time, Favre was at the center of an alleged corruption scandal involving the state's Mississippi welfare system. Among the broadcaster's comments, Sharpe said Favre was taking from the underserved. That he stole from people that really needed money, and that the problem that I have with the situation, you've got to be a sorry mofo to steal from the lowest of the low. The lower court ruled that Sharpe's remarks were rhetorical hyperbole and loose figurative language. Favre's lawyers are arguing that the comments represent actionable defamation. Favre was never charged with a crime, but the state of Mississippi still has a lawsuit pending against him and others involved in the welfare scandal. State representative maintained that he received more than $1 million for planned speaking engagements to which he was a no-show. He paid that money back, but is being pursued for interest. Now, I want to get to the second article here. This is from The Guardian. It then continues on and says, lawyers for Brett Favre asked the federal court appeal to revive a defamation lawsuit the former NFL quarterback filed against fellow Pro Hall of Famer Shannon Sharpe amid the backdrop of a Mississippi welfare scandal. The federal judge in Mississippi threw out the lawsuit in October, and then the article goes on to say a few other things. There, it then says towards the end, it said amongst White's findings was Favre's improperly received $1.1 million in speaking fees for a nonprofit organization that spent TANF money with the approval from the Department of Human Services. The money was to go towards a $5 million volleyball arena at the University of Mississippi, which he attended, where his daughter was playing the sport. Favre has paid back $1.1 million, but White said in February in a court filing that the former quarterback still owes $729,000 because interest caused growth in the original amount he owed. Favre, who lives in Mississippi, has denied wrongdoing and is not facing criminal charges. He is among more than 36 people or companies sued by the Department of Human Services. U.S. District Judge Keith Sorrett October ruling said Sharpe's remarks about the case were constitutionally protected rhetorical hyperbole. So you heard what the articles had to say there. Now, what's interesting about this is Shannon Sharpe wasn't the only person that Brett Favre was going after. He was also going after Pat McAfee. And Pat McAfee, well, you know Pat McAfee, he has the I don't give a F attitude. He was like, bring it on. Right. And I think I could be wrong, but I think I heard him say something like freedom of speech or something like that. But we didn't really hear much about that after. But Shannon Sharpe did have some strong positions on Brett Favre on multiple occasions. But at the time he was working on Undisputed, they brought up a topic and he was going to discuss it. What did you want him to do? Not say what he thought. He said what he thought. And I think I think the comments that Shannon Sharpe was making was based on the information that was being provided in the lawsuits. Right. I don't think that Shannon Sharpe went off on a tangent and just started saying things out of nowhere. It was anchored in some of the things that were being alleged in those lawsuits. So I think Shannon had a point there. Now, how he said it, that's just the way he said it. He's going to say things the way that he does. But ultimately, I guess we have to wait and see if this story grows any legs. So the question I have for the audience is the following. Do you think that the courts are going to reopen this case and reignite this lawsuit against Shannon Sharpe? Or do you think that this thing is going nowhere? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section, and we catch you guys on the next show. Peace.